On a chilly April evening in 1993, Stephen Lawrence, an 18-year-old black British teenager, stood at a bus stop in Eltham, southeast London, with his friend Duane Brooks. Stephen, an aspiring architect with talent for math and art, was the eldest son of Neville and Doreen Lawrence, Jamaican immigrants who had built a life centered on hard work and family. That night, as the two friends chatted, a gang of white youths approached, shouting racial slurs. In a sudden, unprovoked attack, Stephen was stabbed multiple times. He staggered 100 meters before collapsing on the pavement, bleeding to death. His killers fled into the night. This brutal, racially motivated murder would not only shatter a family, but also expose deep flaws in British society and its justice system, sparking a legacy of reform that resonates decades later. The Metropolitan Police's initial response was shockingly inadequate. Within hours, local residents provided names of suspects: Gary Dobson, David Norris, Neil Accourt, Jamie Accourt, and Luke Knight, known in the area for racist behavior. Yet, the police failed to act swiftly. Critical evidence, such as clothing from the crime scene, was mishandled, and opportunities to arrest suspects were missed. Duane Brooks, the sole witness, was treated with suspicion rather than compassion, his testimony dismissed as unreliable. The Lawrence family, grieving their son, felt patronized and ignored by officers who seemed indifferent to their loss. Doreen Lawrence later recalled the police's attitude. They didn't see us as people who deserved justice. Frustrated by the police's inaction, Neville and Doreen launched a private prosecution in 1994 against 3 suspects: Dobson, Knight, and Neil Accourt. It was a rare and bold move, the first private murder prosecution in Britain in over a century. The trial began in 1996 at the Old Bailey, but collapsed when Duane's identification evidence was ruled inadmissible. The acquittals left the family devastated, and the suspects walked free, some even taunting the public with their apparent immunity. A covert police video later revealed the group's virulent racism, with Dobson and Norris gleefully acting out stabbing motions and spewing hateful language. The footage, aired publicly, shocked the nation, but it wasn't enough to secure convictions at the time. The case might have faded into obscurity, another unsolved tragedy, were it not for the Lawrences' relentless campaign. Their dignity and determination drew support from unexpected quarters, including Nelson Mandela, who met the family in 1993, and the Daily Mail, which in 1997 ran a front-page headline branding the 5 suspects murderers, daring them to sue. The public outcry grew, and in 1997, Home Secretary Jack Straw ordered a public inquiry led by Sir William Macpherson, a retired High Court judge. The inquiry, which began in 1998, would prove to be a turning point in British history. The Macpherson inquiry uncovered a litany of failures in the Metropolitan Police's investigation: professional incompetence, a lack of leadership, and most damningly, institutional racism. The 1999 Macpherson Report defined this as the collective failure of an organization to provide an appropriate and professional service to people because of their color, culture, or ethnic origin. It found that racist attitudes permeated police, affecting how Stephen's case was handled, from the dismissive treatment of Duane Brooks to the failure to pursue leads against white suspects. The report's 70 recommendations, 67 of which led to changes within 2 years, reshaped British policing and public policy. Among the most significant outcomes was the partial abolition of the double jeopardy rule, which had prevented suspects from being tried twice for the same crime. The Criminal Justice Act 2003 allowed retrials in cases with new and compelling evidence, a direct response to the Lawrence case. The inquiry also brought the police under the Race Relations Act, ending their exemption from anti-discrimination laws. New protocols improved homicide investigations, and targets were set to increase diversity in police recruitment. The Independent Police Complaints Commission was established to oversee police conduct, and the definition of a racist incident was broadened to include victims' perceptions, empowering communities to report hate crimes. The Lawrence family's fight bore fruit in 2012, nearly 2 decades after Stephen's death. Advances in forensic science revealed microscopic evidence, blood, fibers, and hair, linking Gary Dobson and David Norris to murder. The Court of Appeal quashed Dobson's 1996 acquittal, and new trial began at the Old Bailey under Mr. Justice Tracy. On January 3rd, 2012, Dobson and Norris were convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge urged the police to pursue the remaining 3 or 4 killers, believed to be part of the gang, but no further convictions have followed. Despite the partial justice, the case exposed ongoing issues. In 2020, the Metropolitan Police declared the investigation inactive, a decision that dismayed the Lawrences. In 2023, a BBC investigation named Matthew White as a 6th suspect, revealing that police had failed to properly investigate him despite early witness statements. White, who died in 2021, had even made threatening references to Stephen's murder in a 2020 assault. The revelation prompted renewed calls to reopen the case, and in 2024, London Mayor Sadiq Khan ordered an independent review, with terms still under discussion. The case also highlighted allegations of police corruption. The 2014 Ellison Review found evidence of an undercover officer infiltrating the Lawrence family's campaign to smear their reputation, and suspicions of a corrupt detective shielding suspects. In 2023, the Crown Prosecution Service declined to charge officers involved in the initial investigation, a decision upheld in 2024, leaving Baroness Doreen Lawrence bewildered, disappointed, and angry. Stephen's murder transcended a single tragedy, becoming a catalyst for societal change. It forced Britain to confront its insipid fruits of racism, as one observer noted, challenging the myth of a post-racial society. The Macpherson Report's findings echoed in subsequent reviews, like the 2023 Casey Report, which again labeled the Metropolitan Police institutionally racist. Stephen Lawrence Day, established in 2018, commemorates his life annually on April 22nd, fostering dialogue on racial equality. Their lives were brutally cut short by Lawrence Foundation, a school caretaker whose monstrous actions marginalized community and exposed and scholarships in Stephen's name inspire future architects and professionals. For the Lawrences, justice remains incomplete. Whilst the Metropolitan Police have given up, I never will, Doreen vowed in 2020. The case exposed not just the failures of one investigation, but the systemic biases that allowed those failures to persist. It changed laws, reformed policing, and shifted public attitudes, yet the fight for full accountability continues. Stephen's story, as his mother says, is both challenging and inspirational, a reminder of a young man whose life, though cut short, reshaped a nation's conscience.